Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Ormark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And this week we're looking at backgrounds and how to create pretty backgrounds using just sponges, blending brushes now rather than sponges, and just a few different techniques. And we did a lovely simple floral one last time. Now we're going to do one on the ocean. Lovely stamp set. I've got a birthday coming up, so I want from Anne, so I want to do one with the ship on it, and I think that I can do like a little cameo with that on. So we are taking exactly the same as we did on the last one. I have made my own little mask, and this time I've done it with an oval, and I've done it exactly the same size as the cardstock. And this one was from, that was our squares, that one was from again a Stampin' Up one. It's retired, but you might be able to get a second-hand one somewhere, and it's Ovals Collections. That was the number. So, you know, if you haven't got any ovals and want some, these again, absolutely brilliant because they are a great size. So they go up to this sort of size. Good coming up for Easter, for making big Easter eggs, Easter cards and things. And they go down to small ones. So, you know, a set that I bought many years ago, and I keep it all the time because it's nice to have good ovals. So, and once you've got them, you don't need to get another set of ovals again and again and again and again. So the colours we're using are different shades of blue. So we've got Starry Sky, we've got Tahitian Tide, we've got Pool Party, and we've got Orchid Oasis. So a variety of different blues that I think will work quite well. This is going to be for the stamping of the darker things, so I'm not going to use that one at the moment. And I'm going to start, I think, with Pool Party. So I'm just going to look and see how, I don't know quite what I've had on there. So I'm going to use one of the new brushes, which is the smaller ones. So I am on this. Again, you want to do it quite lightly. And you can see that as you start building it up, it will come darker. But don't be tempted to press too hard. If you press too hard, you will find that you don't get really nice even coverage. You tend to get blobdy-blob. So it is it's always worth doing it. A lot of my others I've just re-inked. I didn't re-ink my Pool Party. So I'm just taking this round some of the edges like this. So we'll have that one to start off with. Then I'm going to take the Orchid Oasis, because that's a nice purpley blue, but works very well with the sort of sea. So I'm just going to do that with, I'm going to do it with this one, I think. And then I can take this in. I always tap it off at the edge first, so I can then, as I say, build it up softly. Because the idea is that you don't want to rub too much. So you do it gently and then build it up as you go. As I say, it's very tempting to want to get more and more colour on there, and you keep doing a little bit more and a little bit more, and or you go like, oh, haven't got the patience, and you suddenly go, right, I'm going to do too much on there, and then it doesn't come out as you want it. So that's the Orchid Oasis. Now we're going to use the Tahitian Tide, which is the lovely, real tropical see. So we can have that coming in. And we're going to have that just coming through in on the middle, building it up from here. Building it up from the bottom. Just, you can see how the colours are starting to sort of build up and come through on the edges where I want them, but still sort of keeping. I'm going to go down into this pool party and to just bring that up a little bit more in the colours. And it is a matter of just building up those tones. Keep going until you go, oh yes, actually that's enough, I don't need any more on there. And build that up just a bit more, because we're getting nice depth coming in there. And then I just want to do a little bit more on the top here with the Orchid Oasis, which is that lovely sort of purpley blue. We can build that in now. Like that. Okay, so I'm going to keep the mask on for a minute because part of it I want to come out and part of it I want to keep within the mask. So I want to have this ocean part coming through, which is absolutely beautiful. I really love this stamp. So I'm going to take that, and I want to, another block on there, and I want to put this, let's just put that in, I can put it on the quarter like that. And I'm going to take it in the, I think I'm going to take it in the Tahitian Tide. Says me, what have I just done with the Tahitian Tide? I've literally just used it, haven't I? Where has that disappeared? Oh, it's right down at the bottom, that's why. Okay, so I'm going to do this, and I'm going to stamp this up. Ink it up quite well, and then I'm going to take it down in on the bottom here. Just like that. That's beautiful, exactly how I wanted it. Might just do a little bit just coming off on the edge like this, which is fine. I think that's perfect because we've got the swirl of it, which is rather nice. I could do it in a slightly darker colour. We have two of them, so shall I put, I don't want to use the dark, but I might use, let's take that off of there so you don't get into my natural light. I'm going to use the Orchid Oasis, and I'm just going to do another little bit on top because that's going to just give me that nice little cameo that I want. So let me just take this one, and then this one I can take it just a little bit higher or lower. Haven't really thought about this. I'm just going to do it over the top, I think. There we go. So we've got two different bits coming in. I do need to just make sure that I've got some bits coming in over the water like this, so it comes off like that. Woo! Nearly lost it. Perfect. You can see that's on there, how that's coming through nicely. Just pop the mask back in. So that's got our watery bit on there. Going to have our boat in over the top anyway. So I can clean that one off. And then I'm going to take the little birds. I'm not going to use the clouds on this one, but I am going to use these birds because I think these birds are beautiful. And the birds are going to come in the starry sky because I want those to be in the background. And I might actually just do another bit of the sea in the starry sky to just give it that little bit of dark in there. So these little birds are going to just come up in on the center. Oh, look at that, beautiful. Yes, so I need to do, having thought about it, we're going to have another bit of color in there with these waves, and I'm just going to have some because you can see how the birds just look beautiful in that slightly darker. So I'm going to take these waves and I'm going to do them in the starry sky. Okay, and then I'm just going to take those straight over the top and make sure that I press on either side so that they go nicely in on. Oh, that's better. You've got all the different color tones coming through on that. So when I take that off, you can see you've got the lights and the darks and the different waves and things coming up, which just gives a beautiful, beautiful background on there. Okay, so that's going to be our background. And you can see, as I say, you've got all of these beautiful tones coming through, which I think just looks lovely. And now we need to do our boat. So the boat we need to do twice because we're going to build it up sort of three-dimensional. But I want the bow of the boat and the whole of the boat to start off with is going to come in the dark colour. So I want it to be, it's going to be coming in on here, but I want it to come some on and some off. So it's going to come up about like that. So let me just clean this one off. So we can then see for getting the boat on. I might need a bigger block for that actually. Just trying to fiddle about with little tiny weeny blocks for this, and I need a slightly bigger block now. So, oops. Oh. Somebody said for me to put ribbon in on there. You can hear me struggling away, and that's quite a good idea because to get them out of, let me show you what I'm doing. I'm getting them out of the case like this. So they are quite tight. They didn't used to be as tight. It's purely because my hands are getting weaker as I get older. So, right, that's where the boat's going to come. So what I want to do is I want to give the whole of the boat, it's going to come in the dark because the hull's going to come in dark and then the sails are going to come paler. So I need to put this right up on this side. It's going to come in, but it's going to come off as well. So I want it in like this. Make sure that I've just, because I quite like things to come inside and out. So there, that looks beautiful because it's sailing into the inside bit as well as the outside, and you've got the seagulls. You can see though that it's over printed because we've done it on the other, but that's fine because we're doing a different type of this particular set. You can get dies with it. I didn't want the dies because it's a very simple shape to fussy cut. So I thought that I would do the fussy cutting. So I want the sails in. Do we have them in? And I'm going to have a look and see. Do we have them really pale sails or do we have the sails in that colour. I might try and do a bit of both actually, to have them coming up sort of two-toned. And I've got a scrap that I was using for the other card that I'm just going to put down on here, and we're going to do a little bit of both. So I'm going to have the paler one first, which is the Tahitian Tide, and I'm going to just ink that up like that, because we're going to take the sails on. Then I'm going to get this. Now what I need to do is to get a sponge dauber. So sponge daubers you still need as well as your blending brushes, because they are perfect for doing this little technique. So when you've got your sails, which is what we want, I'm now taking the darker, so the Starry Sky, and I'm just going round the outside of the sails, but keeping a little bit of the inside of the sails in, like that. So we've got two-tone, and then that can come in down here. We just need to stamp it like that, and you can see we've got the two different tones of the sails, which is perfect, exactly what I wanted. And now what I need to do is I just need to get some scissors. Whoops, got bits everywhere. So I've got this on here. We're going to take some scissors. Let me just get my snips, and then I'm going to need some blue, a blue background, which I haven't really thought about. Are these blues? Yes, these are blues, aren't they? So I'm going to have I might actually have that card on there. Let's have a look and see when I get to it. Right, I've got my snips here, and I'm just going to cut this out, and you can then see it is a very simple, easy shape to cut out. So we're just going to cut the sail part of each one. Just going to go round roughly so I'm not holding on to all of the other paper, and then we can cut this out. Now the reason why I'm only doing the sails is because you've got all of the rigging, so that's why I've stamped it first, because then you've got the rigging that comes through, so you don't have to worry about these fiddly little bits on the side. You can cut those off, because this is literally just going to be the sail that comes on top. And this again, we're going to cut straight across on here, so we don't have to worry about that at all. And again on here we can cut down, because we only want the sail part. So when we put that on here, you've got the rigging and stuff that's coming through anyway, so you don't need you don't need to be too fussy. You don't need to be too fussy with your fussy cutting. It's it doesn't make sense to do that. You know, people that say, oh, I can't fussy cut. Well, if you do this one, it's literally, you're not even having to fussy cut very much at all. So that's then going to go on there, and then this one can go in on the top. Now what I am going to do is, because once you've cut it, you've then got your cut lines. So where the paper is on the edges of the paper, it looks a bit white. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a little bit of sponging in on there, and then that will, so that's going to go in on the top. So let's get that sponge dauber out again. Let's get the Starry Sky out again, and we can then take each one of these pieces and just go around the sides, because by doing that you don't have the white part of the cut in there. So if I put that in, you can now see you have far more detail coming through. Now I could have stamped it a little bit darker if I wanted to. I happen to want to have that almost at the light shining on the sails, which just gives a little bit of different sort of definition in on there. So that one can go there, and then we've got this one to go in on here, and then this is going to be a, as I said, it's a birthday card for somebody. So let's put that on there, that on there. Okay, now those pieces we need to put up with dimensionals. We need to put a sentiment on. So I am, let me have a look and see what I've got in on here that might work. That one might work on here. I'm probably going to end up doing it. I need another map to go around that as well. So, oops, dog's heard something coming out. I've got another, what have I got in here? That's a pool party. That might be a better colour. No, that's too pale. I'm going to work out what I'm going to do on the background. Not completely decided yet, but we need to put these pieces down. They're going to go down with dimensionals because we want it to give that sort of three-dimensional look. So let me just put some, I'm still using my ones that I was given, my contraband ones, which I do need to cut down a bit because those are going to be too long. So let's just cut one little row in half like that. Then I can put these ones up on here, and then they can go in on here. I've got my dog sitting here now looking at me because she'd obviously seen a bird or a squirrel or something in the garden and like looked up as if like, can I go out and chase it? And because I'm doing this, she knows that I'm not going to be moving very quickly, and she's going to have to wait a little bit. So right, that's that one. I can put them on one at a time. So let's have this one on top first of all, and that, whoops, that's going to go in that way. So that goes in like that. Then we can have the second one. And that's why stamping underneath, if you look at the side of the card, you can still see the ship underneath, so that it's not, you've got the different levels, and so it looks quite good on there. I'm going to take this one while we're at it and put the dimensionals on there, because then, as I say, you've got your rigging and everything coming up at the same time. So that's that one. That's my second one, which comes in like that. And then we've got the one at the bottom, which can come in like that. You just need to line it up. So now we've got that three-dimensional look of the ship coming through, which looks good. We now need to do a sentiment, and I want to do the happy birthday. So it's a tiny little happy birthday, which I think is quite nice. And I might do the have the skull and crossbones as well next to it. So let's have that's the ship's wheel rather than the skull and crossbones. I need to take the happy birthday. I haven't used that one yet, so it's a new, whoops, it's a new one. I've just thrown, what was that? That's the skull and crossbones. Nearly flew out of the box. So let's take the happy birthday. I need to do that with a little one. I might actually just do a bit of double stamping on the happy birthday part and have the ship's wheel at the bottom. So let's take this happy birthday and I can put that in on, doesn't really matter, it can go in on this piece, can't it? I want to do that in Starry Sky. So let's take the Starry Sky and we'll do that like that. Nice little happy birthday. Now I have got, again, I've always kept these are the little label punches, which I think are just perfect for doing little tiny sentiments like this. Give a nice little border. There's two of them. This was the first one, which is the rounded one, and then there was one with a more pointed side, which I've got as well. And as I say, I keep those all the time because they're something that I will use again and again. So, you know, once you've got yours, so that's going to come down there, and then I just want to put the ship's wheel just there, and that's going to go in the Starry Sky again. It might actually go in on this one, mightn't it? Make sure it goes upwards like that. So that can then come in the dark. And I'm going to put that in on, let's take that out for a minute. That can go in there at the bottom. Let's take this little happy birthday and put some dimensionals on there. Let's see if they will fit. Yes, they will. Get another couple. Always stick, don't they? On that side, and we'll have one on, oops, this side, like that. That can all come off. Like that. And then that can just go in like that. There we are. So we've turned this beautiful background into a really beautiful three-dimensional card. As I say, I need to put it onto a slightly different, it's got to have another mount on there if I'm going to put it onto that colour, which I'm not sure whether I am. But it gives you a beautiful card, lovely background. You can do the background and then put whatever stamp and things on, take it slightly off so that then you've got that that look. So I hope you enjoyed that. As always, please stay safe and well, please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye.